Okay, so now I've cleared the stuff off the machine, and so I'll run you through some actual machine basics of like what the buttons on the controller do, how to turn the machine on, stuff like that. So let me tilt the camera down. Okay, so here's the machine, the gantry head like I ran you through, and the spoil board, clamps, whatever else, right? Okay, so some basics. This is your controller here. I think I ran through this. Expensive, don't drop it. Very nice. Now, to turn the machine on, remember that little white box down there? There's a green knob or a green dial, which you're going to turn to the right. And then you'll hear the machine roar to life with its big V8 engine. Here's your controller. It says Axiom on it as it boots up. I'm going to bend down a little. Okay, and so then you get three different options. Option 1 is an all-axis home. Option 2 is a Z home only. And then option 3 is a none-axis home. Just do an all-axis home. It's always good. So now you can see it's moving to this bottom left corner so that it knows exactly where it is. Because when the machine like starts up, it doesn't know like where on the bed it is. Nice. So now it's stopped here. So I'm going to run you through some actual like what the buttons do. So let me set this mic down. Never mind. Okay, so here we have X plus and X minus, Y plus and Y minus, and then Z plus, Z minus. Don't worry about the A. I'll run you through the A in a second. But so the coordinates, remember how I talked about that in Inventor, how the coordinates like the X and the Y and the Z are very important? Let's run through that now real quick. This is a 3D machine, so it moves forwards, backwards, left, right, up, and down. So that means it has 3 pairs of coordinates, right? So this is your x-axis, side to side. Keep that in mind. So if this is 0, this, as it goes to the right, the x value increases. So 0, 0, 0, increase x value. So as I go onto the controller, and you can see the x plus, so if I want to increase the x value, what that means is I want to change this gantry and move it closer or further from this point. I'm going to hit x plus. So as I hit x plus, watch the gantry move. It's moving in the x positive direction. If I want to go to the left, I'm going to hit x minus, which is x negative. You can see it's moving. Beautiful. So there's your x. X is left and right, just like in the camera. Remember, I wanted the x pointing to the right, just like in real life here. Next is y. Your y is forwards and backwards. So this is y. So this is 0, 0, 0, right? So your y positive is going to be moving the gantry that way. Your y negative will move it closer towards you. So I'm going to press y positive, and you'll see the gantry moves far from me. And then y minus will move it back towards me. Nice. Okay. And then finally we have z. So if that was side to side, forwards and backwards, now there's up and down, unless there's a fourth dimension I don't know about. So z minus, I'm going to go minus because we're already at the top here. But so z minus moves up and down. So there's your minus, and then there's your plus. Up and down, not too difficult to understand. And then you have your A plus and your A minus. So what that basically means is you can get an attachment, which is like a rotary thing of like a lathe attached, and it spins, and that's like a fourth dimension, I guess. I don't know. That's complicated. We don't have that. We're kind of too poor and don't really need it. So don't worry about that. Next up, the fast or slow button. You can see here there's an F, which turns into an L. F stands for fast. I guess L stands for slow. I don't know. But L, it is slower. So if I do X plus on slow, which has the L, that's pretty slow. But then if I shift to fast, that's faster. So I recommend, so let's say I want to move like to somewhere, I would move there fast for the majority of it, and I would just slow down as I get closer to go a little more fine. Some other buttons here, we have XY0 and ZA0. I'll run you through those when I actually run the machine. F1 and F2, I have no idea. I actually emailed Axiom, and they said they're just configurable buttons, but they haven't created a way to configure them. So these are just do nothing buttons. Spindle turns the spindle, you can see here. Spindle turns the spindle on. So you set the spindle speed. If you remember, if you're a good learner, you set the spindle speed with the knob down there. So I'm going to set it to just 1000, just to demonstrate. There is 1, so I'm going to turn the spindle on. Let's see. Can you see it spin? You can. So I'm just pressing the spindle button and it's spinning. This isn't how you do it to run a thing. It'll automatically turn on when you run a program. But this is like if you want to do it manually for whatever reason. You have a menu button, pulls up the menu. I never really use that. I don't think you'll need to either. Stop or cancel is a very important button. The big red button, quite important. Always, not always, but for the most part, you should have your thumb on it when running programs. That's what I do. If something goes wrong or anything, you can always cancel and stop it. For the most part, you'll actually be watching. You'll be standing like right here and watching the machine run its programs, just for various reasons, where you need to cool down the bit or watch it and make sure nothing happens or it's about to come loose or something like that. So for the most part, you'll be watching the machine. So if you're here, might as well just have your thumb on stop cancel in case something goes like awfully wrong and you lose a finger or something. I don't know what repeat machining does. I don't think you need to either. Advanced function, no idea. Tool set, I believe that's if you have multiple tools. No, sorry, tool set. I'm losing my mind. Tool set's important. Next video though. Break work. The cancel button works fine. I've never used a break work. This is about it. What else is there? There's home, and so you can home all your axes just like we did previously. So as you can see, it homes. You can select all or just X or Y or whatever you want. So actually, there's a good point here. There's a difference between home and origin. So origin is the origin you set. Which, remember that set point I was talking about, top left, the top of the top left? That's your set point, right? That's where everything is in relation to that model. However, home is the home of the machine, which is always the bottom left. The origin can change depending on your CAD, but I don't know where the origin is set to currently, but if I press origin, it'll go to where it was last set. So it seems I was doing something over there, and so that was the point I set to be my top left. Run, pause, delete. This is quite a good button too. You'll use it a lot. It's where actually you run the file. So your USB plugs in up here, and then you would go to UDisk and you would run your file. It throws up this error because there's nothing plugged in right now. But now we can actually get to running the file. I'll do some setup and things, and then we'll actually run and create the bracket I made.